The following is a pestle analysis presentation of Egypt. Most of Egypt is located in northeastern Africa, with the Sinai Peninsula extending into Asia. Its capital and largest city is Cairo, located as well in the northeast corner of the country. Egypt's population in 2016 was estimated at 94.6 million. It currently ranks 15th in the world per population size and accounts for 1.27% of the world's population. As you can see, it has been experiencing a steady increase in population over the years, averaging a 1.99% yearly increase since 2005. Due to the harsh desert climate, 39.7% of the population is classified as urban dwelling. Egypt's political structure can be classified as a presidential republic with a legal system based on Napoleonic, Islamic, and colonial era laws. In June 2014, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was elected president or chief of state. The current prime minister is Sharif Ismail. According to the 2016 Freedom House analysis, Egypt is far from politically free, due largely in part by the president's control over the executive and legislative branches of government. In late 2015, the legislative elections were finally held. Egypt also scores very low in political rights and civil liberties, as its citizens are frequently intimidated and suppressed when in opposition to the government. As a result, it also scores fairly low on the Corruption Perception Index.
There is political unrest in Egypt, which has a direct effect on the economy. Egypt has a mixed economic system that is combined with three main areas: centralized economic planning, government regulation, and private freedoms. Egypt's gross domestic product growth rate is just over 4% for 2015, which is actually higher than the United States, that averaged less than 3% in 2015. Gross national income at PPP for 2015 was $980 billion compared to the US, which was $18,496 billion. The GNI per capita at the PPP in 2015 was $10,710 for Egypt and $57,540 for the United States. The GNI per capita is $3,340 for Egypt, which makes the cost of living less in Egypt than in the US. To put To put this in perspective, a 900 square foot furnished apartment in an expensive area runs around 391 US dollars, while in a regular area runs 194 US dollars. And an 11-ounce Coke or Pepsi runs 24 cents compared to in the US at $1.91. That's a 692% difference. The trade balance of Egypt in 2014 was 33.2 billion in exports versus 82.4 billion in imports, leaving a negative trade balance. A few of the top imports of Egypt are crude petroleum, refined petroleum, semi-finished iron, wheat, petroleum gas, and cars. The top exports of Egypt are crude petroleum, refined petroleum, insulated wire, video displays, and gold. A few of the major trade barriers are regulations, labor rules, and lack of intellectual property rights. This makes it very difficult for foreign investors or foreign direct investments or FDIs. Foreign direct investment inflows for 2015 was 6,885 million and 181 million for outflows, compared to the US, which was 379 billion in 2015 for inflows and 349 billion in outflows. The inward FDI stock for Egypt in 2016 was 94.57 billion and 7.362 billion for outward FDI stock. The inward US stock was 3.28 trillion in 2015 and 5.269 trillion in outward stock. The foreign exchange instability over time is shown here. As you can see, the Egyptian pound, or the blue line, has lost value recently, and that the exchange rate currently is 1 US dollar to every 18.36 Egyptian pounds. The economic freedom for 2016 had a value of 56 and a rank of 125. HDI for 2014 had a value of 0.69 and a rank of 108. DB, or ease of doing business, in 2016 had a value of 55.18 and a rank of 126.
Egypt is a large country of almost 95 million people. 50.2% of this population is males, while the remaining are females. 87% of this population are Muslims and 15% are Christians. Egypt's population is equivalent to 1.27% of the total world's population, and Egypt ranks number 15 in worldwide population. The population density in Egypt is 248 people per square mile. The above two graphs displays Egypt's yearly gross population as well as the males and females' median ages. Egypt is one of the most ancient countries in the world. It holds the pyramids, one of the seven wonders of the world. In Egypt, women were powerful and highly regarded, and some of them have achieved the status of ruling queens of Egypt. Names like Nefertiti, Hatshepsut, and Cleopatra are most likely the first to spring to mind. The Egyptian civilization started almost 7,000 years ago, and Egypt possesses more than two-thirds of the entire world's monuments. Egypt has a number of the world's most amazing beaches and tourist destinations. Its beaches extend for 620 miles along the Mediterranean Sea and 1,260 along the Red Sea. Tourism has recently fallen significantly, and unemployment level went higher for university and technical school graduates. Unemployment touched the ceiling of 15% for males and 20% for females. A Hofstad's topology chart is displayed in slide number 1 and shows a comparison with the USA, which has been carried out with Egypt. Egypt scored 70 on the power distance dimension, which means that people accept a hierarchical order. A score of 25 in the individualism indicates that loyalty in a collectivist culture is paramount and overrides most other societal rules and regulations. Egypt's very low score of 7 in the long-term orientation indicates a normative in which people have a strong concern with establishing the absolute truth. With a very low score of 4 in indulgence, Egypt is shown to be a very restrained country, having a tendency to cynicism and pessimism. In this chart, a graph listing the scientific specialties in Egypt is displayed. It exhibits percentages of males and females in each specialty. A list of most important Egyptian industries, agricultural activities, and exports is displayed. Egypt has recently become a part of the large global information and technology business network. Egypt's IT spending has increased from $1.3 billion in 2010 to $2.1 billion in 2014. Mobile subscribers to population registered is 108.3%. Petroleum industry is one of the most significant in Egypt, and hydrocarbon production is by far the largest single industrial activity. Conventional and renewable energy resources are attractive in Egypt. Suez Canal development zone is now open for global technology projects.
Hello, my name is Raymond Boko. Today we're going to be talking about Egypt environmental and SWOT analysis. Considering the environmental condition of Egypt, based on 9 indicators: health impact, air quality, water sanitation, water resources, agriculture, forests, fisheries, biodiversity and habitat, climate and energy, Egypt has overall score of 104 against US, which is 26 over 180. So Egypt has been engulfed with a lot of environmental problems which needs to be addressed. On the screen is what you can see. On the left, it's Egypt environmental performance indicators, and on the right is the US environmental performance indicators. Just for your attention, this picture that you're seeing is the Nile River. Egypt lies in the desert, and the microenvironment is hot and dry. However, the Nile River provides great water resources for sustainable agriculture, crops, and fish and livelihood. It should be said that environmental problems in Egypt come from its aridity uneven topography resulting in accelerated erosion and associated ecosystem pollutions of water, air, and degradation of biodiversity from pollutants such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and other pesticides. The Nile River experiences seasonal flooding and heavy use of synthetic agrochemicals have resulted in pollution and extinction of indigenous flora and fauna resources. Thus, most of the changes in the environment are anthropogenic. And as can be seen, Egypt's environmental performance ranked lower than the US. Besides, sanitation is a major issue, and most major cities generate about 3 million tons of solid waste per year. And inadequate sewage disposal and uncontrolled industrial effluent have created major water pollution problems. As you can see in the picture, it is very, very unhygienic. As you can see, there's so much human influences on the environment, and we see people just don't pay attention to the environment and dump refuse and other stuff that pollutes water bodies, which is also detrimental to human health. This slide shows Egypt's strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. The final slide is the pyramids, and one cannot talk about Egypt without the mention of pyramids. I was there in 2000 and I visited this place, and it was so nice. So this is why they generate a lot of income from tourism, ecotourism. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Charles Cesar, and I'll be taking the legal system aspect of this project. A legal system is one of the most important elements in the backbone of every country. The main goal of legal system in any country is to ensure rule of law, protection of citizens, and its economic activities. So under rule of law, the component that I'll be talking about is the patents, trademark, copyright, and intellectual property protection. Let me begin, because of time, with patents. Patents, by definition, is the government authority or license conferring a right, title for a set period, especially to the sole right to exclude others from making, using, or selling an invention. So when you come back to look at the graph, it tells you that Egypt, compared to United States, wasn't doing that great in 2008, but as years swung by, when you look at the graph in 2014, Egypt was coming back up, which is a great sign of a patent distribution in Egypt in 2014. The next step that I'll be talking about is the trademark. Trademark, by definition, is a recognizable sign, design, expression which identifies product or service of a particular source from those of others. Trademark identifies the brand owner of a particular product or services. So when you look at a graph again, trademark application of Egypt in 2011 was the least that you could see, but it came back up in 2015, which is a good sign of trademark application for a developing country like Egypt compared to United States. It's really a good sign. So the next step, or the next component that I'm talking about under legal system, is copyright. Copyright, by definition, is an exclusive legal right to produce, publish, sell, or distribute a matter and form of something. Copyright law states that the copyright stands for between 50 to 100 years from the creator's death if the creator is an individual. So back to the graph again, when you look at the figures that we have on the graph, Egypt wasn't doing that great in 2012 2012, but they begin to pick up in 2015. Because of time consciousness, I will limit my time and talk about intellectual property. Intellectual property is the summary of trademark, copyright, and patents, as I spoke about. And when you look at their figures in 2015, Egypt really got a great figures, which is a great sign of starting a business in Egypt under legal system. Thank you.